Oh, hi there. It's your friend Dave again from Squawking Dead, here to intro yet another episode, a strange episode, without me from Squawking Dead. This one, we will be discussing It Welcome to Derry's fourth episode of its inaugural season, and, well, I'm not going to say the title because I'm going to mess it up. But what I will say is, this is yet another episode edited entirely via Riverside, via many other fascinating, wonderful tools. Now, it's not perfect. Obviously, it's not perfect. But I want to show you how perfect it can be with just literally a few minutes of your time. Now, I say all this to warn you that this isn't the same quality. I said this last time. Actually, I said this only a few minutes ago, yet because I am recording this twice, you'll have noticed that, if you're watching Pluribus, that I used the same intro for that episode, and well, I'm here again on the very same, little minutes later, recording this for the next episode, because I can edit these episodes through Riverside probably about thousands of times faster, and you can do the same if you so choose. In any case, I hope you enjoy this episode without me, your friend Dave. I do miss you. But hey, it's a good vacation for you, from me, and also a great opportunity to see how well the rest of the gang did without me. Though I did catch a little bit when I reviewed some of the footage, because I haven't Riverside edited most of it. I thank my hosts, Sharon and Rachel, for saying that they miss me. It really is felt and appreciated. Been going through a tough time. And I hope you missed me too, because, it'd be nice to feel wanted every now and again. Let me know in the comments. You can tell it's actually 4 a.m. on a Friday morning. I hope you've enjoyed these episodes, and let us know if you do. And like I said in the last intro, if you actually are okay with this level of quality, I can, with a little bit more time, improve upon this and release these episodes far faster than we would normally. It's great for you, it's great for us. And that's really all I wanted to say. I enjoy this episode with Bridget, Rachel, and of course, our wonderful Whispers member, Rob Lucchese. And if you want to join the Whispers tier, it's a little membership that we have to support our podcast, you too can join in on the fun with a camera and mic and lend us your thoughts that the world can hear. Take care. I'll see you on the other side, and hopefully I'll be in the next few episodes. Wouldn't that be nice? Take care. And take it away, gals and guy.
Is this pigeon? I was like, wow, okay, dude. Like, are you really mad about this? What's going on? We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing programs beyond The Walking Dead. Sometimes we bring you news, sometimes we make you laugh, most times we go deep. Today I am CosmoMom09.
I'm Bridget. You can find me at youtube.com/@PunkyBrewster. That's PUNKYBRUISETER.
And I'm Rob at Rob Stuffin' Things over on TikTok and YouTube.
We're going to talk to you about the fourth episode of the first season of It Welcome to Derry. This episode has the longest episode title in history. I don't think I have ever watched a show that had a longer episode title. And it is funny. The great swirling apparatus of our planet's function.
Was that a line in this episode?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Was it? Okay.
Well, thank you for that answer, because I was like, I don't know what this has to do with anything.
It was the science teacher when they were watching the video about snails and worms and all the insects.
I didn't catch that. Okay.
And
He was boring. He was boring.
You felt like every single kid in that classroom.
He sounded like Ben Stein.
Okay.
And I felt like that was probably on purpose.
Probably.
To some degree. Okay. I did want to start the top of the show off with, there was a comment that was left on one of our videos by, I assume this is a shortened version of your name, like Marigold. but it's Merrig 9236 left the following comment. From my understanding, it's not exactly 27 years, about around 27 years.
Okay.
And I did look that up, and I'm sure that
Yes.
Rachel will be able to attest to this accuracy. The same question was proposed in a Reddit thread 6 years ago
Wow.
on r/Stephen King. Does Pennywise come back around every 28 years or 27 years? So I just started reading It after seeing the movies and realizing nearly all of my favorite movies are Stephen King books and that I need to get to reading his works ASAP. And right at the beginning, it says, the terror, which would not end for another 28 years if it ever did end, began. I'm confused because I thought Pennywise came back every 27 years. Tried to Google it, but I can't find why there is a difference. Sorry if this is a super dumb question. I'm just really intrigued as to why there is a difference, especially seeing as the movies made such a point of releasing on dates that coincided with the number 27. This was written by FL4M3 Princess. Flame Princess. Good Lord, Bridget. Okay, I can read internet. Okay, and Christopher Love responded with this very succinct response. It is approximate, but the book starts in 1957, while most of the story takes place in 1958, and of course ends in 1985. Later, Mike will pinpoint the cycles and say sometimes it's as little as 25 years, sometimes as long as 30, but usually about 27 or so.
So an average
Yes.
of 27.
Yes, but I thought that was interesting because I didn't know there was such a broad spectrum.
This question also made me start researching, and because I had 27 stuck in my head too. I think
Yeah.
the reason we're so stuck on 27 is because that is the time gap we're dealing with. In the novel, in the movies, it is 27 years. But yes, if you do your research, you find out it can be a range. I think that's actually kind of cool.
I mean, it makes sense because just think of like hibernating animals. They don't sleep for an
Yeah.
exact amount of days. They kind of wake up in a range based on a couple months. That amount of time is always different. Or
Yeah, did
shorter
you
or
eat
longer
real
based on
well?
that,
Yeah, exactly.
You might stay asleep a little longer.
Okay. I don't really want to talk about the title because holy guacamole. I told Rob, I said this is like the title of an emo song. Fallout Boy wrote this song, and I'm
Yeah.
not interested.
No kidding. Holy moly.
The great swirling apparatus of our planet's function. I don't want to do this.
I guess
wouldn't
that
even know
what-
how to apply that to the greater story
so
of the episode. I'm sure it does in some way, but
not so much the title itself, but maybe the scene where we hear the line where he's talking about worms and insects and how and how every small thing plays a part in the
Yeah.
planet's function. That has relevance. Something as small as a child could play a huge part in, say, taking down a demon alien.
Classic Stephen King.
Yes.
The children have the power.
Oh, do they ever?
In every Stephen King
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
If there's a child in a Stephen King book, they're the hero.
or if it's Pet Cemetery, maybe not.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh, that's true. Then they're the villain.
That opening scene where the kids are in the police station and they're showing the pictures. We
I
all
knew
said
it
the
was
same
coming.
thing. Pennywise was going to change the pictures, right?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be something way worse.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of happy it didn't end up what I thought was going to happen because I thought he was
could have
going to
been,
make
right?
it. I thought he was going to make it seem like her dad actually did the murders and
And-
put something like that in
Oh.
the photos, but he didn't.
I had a suspicion because, that rascally clown, he just always messes everything up. It was when their reaction was so over the top that I was like, what is happening? Is this pigeon? I was like, wow, okay, dude. Like, are you really mad about this? What's going on? He was like
I mean,
so
you see
angry.
where his
So over the
grandson's
top.
going to be a dick.
I am surprised that Pennywise didn't remove himself from the photo, though.
I think he did that
Why
on
is
purpose
that?
because he was so out of focus. You can't really even see that that's what it was.
Mhm.
So
To
he
me,
was like, hey, you can put this blurry photo of me in there. They're
Haha.
not going to believe you anyway.
It kind of looks like
Mm.
he's wearing a cowboy hat.
Yeah, like, why is his hair like so crusty, the clown? Like, it's so far out.
Yeah.
Like, that's not Pennywise, it's Krusty the Clown now.
He's just waking up with that bedhead.
Oh, it's been 30 years. I found it interesting when Lily says, whatever killed Susie, Phil, and Teddy. She refuses to admit that Maddie might be dead.
I feel like just because she already has such a guilty conscience about her dad, it's like her way of protecting herself. Like, she has to tell herself that Maddie is still alive because if
Yeah.
he's not, she's going to blame herself for it. And so then that's 2 deaths that's on her. And she is so scared of going back to Juniper Hill that I think she just is doing that on purpose to like protect herself. Like subconsciously, obviously she doesn't know that she's doing it.
Do you guys
sad.
think it's possible that Maddie is alive?
No, that opening scene was pretty.
I mean, I've seen it, and I still, when I watch the second one, I'm like, maybe Georgie's still alive. Maybe. I told you guys I'm like eternally stupid hopeful. Rachel, you and I are always like, maybe they're still okay. Nobody's gone until they're gone, right?
Just put a Band-Aid on it. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
So, I mean, I would love for him to be alive, but like also at the same time, like, do you want him to be alive? Because what a horrible future he would have ahead of himself.
Not even that, just imagine what he's experiencing right now. Like
Yeah,
wherever
well,
he would
that-
be living, he'd be stuck underground being tortured by this thing in some way or
know.
another.
I think he's dead. I just think that
Oh,
she
yeah.
is trying to console herself and protect herself. It's not even weird because I can totally justify it in
Yeah.
this particular way.
It is still weird that we don't see the ghost of Maddie or Phil in the graveyard.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It was like they couldn't get the actors back for that episode.
I
or
don't, right. I mean,
something.
if there's not a storyline reason, maybe there's a real life logistic reason why they're not in
Yeah.
that scene.
That's possible.
Yeah. I don't know. It's wild. I mean, I keep going back to like just all these teeny little things, right? Like Maddie and Phil weren't rotten on the cereal boxes in the grocery store scene, and we don't see their ghosts in the graveyard, and just all these little things that keep lining up that just, makes you go, huh.
I don't know if that's part of Pennywise's game too, though.
That's true, because that might be his way of giving Lily hope that Maddie's still around, because she might have noticed that he didn't decay on the box.
Giving her that little bit of hope, does that then pay off more for him later?
Yeah.
Then
Puts her more into wanting to keep pursuing what she's pursuing, get her more scared on the way there, and eventually get what he wants.
Maybe false hope has a delicious taste to it.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's a form of
Ew.
adrenaline, maybe.
It's so gross.
I know, it is gross.
Will, I love that he's so book smart. I'm glad that we have that in him to receive that information about I mean, we all know that that's true about predators, but to hear a kid talk about it was just really cool. And to be able to put that together so quickly, why does it want us scared all the time? It's really interesting. So I was excited to see that. I'm glad that we have that. His character is servicing that portion. He's meant to be the book smart kid that kind of figures all of it out.
Yeah.
I have a question. If I'm remembering this correctly, did Mike feel guilty over his parents burning to death in the main movies? 'Cause
Oh,
remember, that was like his thing.
He's fearful of it, like the memory of it.
Yeah, was that his parents? Because if so, that means it was
Oh
Will.
man, yeah.
I thought about that last night. I was like, oh wait, we know how Will
Oh,
passes
I don't
away.
like
But
that.
As an
No.
adult,
What'd you
we
do
also
that
see-
for, Rob?
well, we got to remember these things. But it also, you see Will, like as an adult, slaughtering a sheep with Mike and like trying to make him like brave and like have him put it down with the piston gun in the first movie.
Well, I imagine, especially if you'd lived through all of this, you would want your kid to be
That's
as brave
true.
as possible
Yeah,
in hopes that that
true.
would be the best way to prepare them for
Mhm.
what's inevitably going to happen. It's so cool that his dad doesn't have the fear
Right.
portion of his brain operating anymore. I was like, that's the coolest thing. What a cool concept to introduce into this world, because of course there's like the diehard Stephen King fans that are like, this isn't canon. Stephen King didn't write this. And I
It's like,
get
it's going
that.
into the movies.
But it's a cash grab. The 2 movies were very wildly successful, and that was a cash cow. And so obviously they were like, well, we don't have anything else in the book, so make up some stuff before. And you
think
know that
Stephen King-
character kind of. Eh?
Yeah, and
You
Stephen
like
King, I'm pretty sure, has a hand in this.
Yeah, I mean, he listed as an executive producer.
Yeah,
It
some of
doesn't
that.
necessarily mean that much.
It means he's got his stamp of approval on it
Well,
to
to
a
some
point.
degree.
Although
paid
he
him.
hated The Shining up until recently. So
They paid him, so you never know.
Oh, yeah, true.
That's his part. They gave him a check and he went, yeah, sure. So I get there being kind of like a sentiment that like, well, this is adding in stuff that doesn't need to exist or whatever. But that to me is a really cool concept to add into this story.
I do really like that they're adding in like Halloran, his ability to shine. The things he's doing with it are more heavily featured in Doctor Sleep versus The Shining. It obviously is a prequel to those as well, but they're really connecting even The Shining and Doctor Sleep as well as the It movies together, which I
Yeah.
do really appreciate. Just builds out
Well,
more of the Stephen King universe.
It's like as soon as Marvel universe was successful, everyone's like,
Oh, everyone's got to have a universe. Yeah.
we could have a universe. We too could have a universe.
Universal's still trying to do that.
Yeah.
They flopped so many times on that.
I know.
It's flopping left and right. Anyway,
Our next scene are the kids in the gymnasium, and they're kind of talking about like what just happened, right?
mhm.
The only thing that I personally took away from this scene was what Will says. They're talking about, I wonder if anything like this has ever happened and who could we talk to? And, oh, Lily, your mom is from here. And Will brings it up. He says, the first thing I would do is find out if anything like this happened, which is hilarious because that's exactly what Mike does.
Yep.
It shows the clear correlation between the two characters, which is nice because, they're related. But also it just kind of gives you that. We felt like these kids were similar to the kids in the It movies. It's kind of meant to be that placeholder. So Mike is Will, Will is Mike.
Mm-hmm. I like it, though.
I
like
do.
it. But he's still his own character, too.
He is. We just haven't gotten as much out of him as I would like to. Unfortunately, some of the kid character development hasn't super been there yet. Now, to be fair, kid actors have very limited screen time in a shooting day.
Yes.
So there's only so much you can do with the kids. But I would like to learn more.
Overall, they're using them very well.
They are. And the actors are all great. I've been impressed. But I would like to just know more about their characters a little bit more. Like we got a little bit about Rich, but not a ton. And so I would kind of like to continue to go down that road where we just find out more about them. Obviously, Ronnie, probably we have like the most fleshed out.
We've got quite a bit of Lily, too.
Speaking of Lily, in the last episode when she's at Juniper Hill and talking to the one nurse who's like, hey, go pursue it. You can figure it out.
The housekeeper lady.
The housekeeper. That's
Yeah.
Mrs. Kirsch. Mrs. Kirsch is the old woman that Beverly finds living in her dad's apartment when she comes back.
What?
And is the daughter of Bob Gray.
Did they say her name at all?
Someone pointed it out online. I didn't catch it in the episode, but I'd have to go back and see if she's wearing a name tag or something. But yeah,
Okay.
she's the daughter of Bob Gray, as she tells Beverly. Obviously, it is Pennywise that's telling her that, but there's a picture of her with her dad on the wall, and it's Bob Gray out of makeup.
Okay, so I'm glad you say that because I actually wrote in my notes, I felt like David for a minute, but I'm like, is the housekeeper real?
She might not be. She might be Pennywise telling her, like, yeah, go do your thing. You can find me.
And she's like, get a good group of friends together and go after what you believe in. And like, and I'm like, doctor who greets Lily's mom. He's like, oh, she's taking quite a liking to the housekeeper, but he never says her name or that it's even a woman. The next scene, we just see them together making the bed. And then the next time we see her, they're in the restaurant, their diner together. So we don't actually see this woman interacting with anybody else. And I'm like, is she even real?
That's true.
Or is it Pennywise?
Her name is Ingrid.
Kirsch?
I don't know. And also, how do you spell Kirsch?
Kirch or SH? As far as I know, unless I missed something, they haven't said her name.
Okay.
Maybe she's wearing a name
this was
tag.
something I saw online.
She's played by Madeline Stowe. And someone did post 5 hours ago on r/it Welcome to Derry show. Ingrid, Madeline Stowe, is Mrs. Kirsch. Watching the episode, I heard Ingrid say, my fodder, during the scene at the diner with Lily. And I guess it stood out as a bit noticeable to me, but I didn't actually think into it at the time. Then later, I was listening to the Losers Club discussion and how Madeline Stowe is a big actor. This must be a podcast. And both of her scenes have seemed sort of shoehorned in and pointless. And she just spits a bunch of weird platitudes. They theorize that something is probably up with her character, but they don't know what. For the reasons they were suspicious about her, her status as a big name actress, the my fodder, her weird, fake, seemingly positive attitude, and the fact that nobody other than Lily has actually interacted with her, I'm pretty sure she is Mrs. Kirsch. Oh, and fun addition that I just read on another site. Last episode, Madeline Stowe's character said, nobody in Derry ever really dies, which is the exact same sentence that Mrs. Kirsch said to Beverly in part 2.
Yes, that's what I saw.
Okay. It's pretty solid.
So they're saying like the my fodder is the way that Mrs. Kirsch says my father in chapter 2. So this is supposed to be like that little tie together. I don't see anything about like the name tag or anything like that, unfortunately. No. But interesting.
That's
a good
really
theory.
hard pull.
That would also imply that the female clown with the similar Pennywise makeup from the beginning of episode 3 would be her working with her father, probably with similar face paint.
I'm sorry, her fodder.
Her father, yes, her father.
Well, I feel like that math's not mathin' though, right? Because that would put her at least around Shaw's age.
That's true. That's if she's real.
If she's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a theory, but yes.
All right. I believe our next scene, or at least the next scene I took notes on, is with Charlotte and Rose. Rose comes to drop off. What is she dropping off?
Whatever she purchased at the consignment shop.
But we don't know what it is.
We didn't see it.
We didn't see the thing.
We didn't see it. Now, Daniel pulls like a lamp out of the van.
Then, like,
there's like a lamp and like
else.
a side table or something, or like a little shelf. He's pulling stuff out, but it's not a lot. And yeah, we never see it, so I don't know. But it's something that was purchased at Rose's shop.
I know, but I want to know what it is and if it's significant.
Does she run needful things?
Or if it's cursed. Seriously. Wow, what did she pay for it? Does Charlotte have to do a favor for her now? Does Charlotte have to go fling mud at the neighbor's sheets? It was very sneaky, smooth but sneaky how Rose, is trying to use Charlotte to get in and obtain more information about the pipeline, which she clearly does not believe.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Of course, it backfires because Charlotte's like, my husband doesn't tell me anything. She's like, oh, well.
Yeah, I know.
Wah, wah.
It was nice to see them interact and kind of get this feel from people who are maybe being a little more genuine about this town than we see in others, where everything's kind of like very surface level, that weird, like, yes, it's perfect here. We love Derry. This is more like, yeah, this place is freaking weird sometimes. So that was nice to see them interact in that way. I did like it, but yeah, it was clearly just pumping her for information.
I hope they can form an actual friendship out of this, though, because they have stuff in common. Like you said, neither one of them are sugarcoating anything that's going on, especially now that Charlotte knows a little bit about what Will has been going through. If she talks to Rose about it, Rose might be able to share some information with her.
Well, and they're both very, I'm going to say politically active. That's not really what I mean, but they're both involved in movements and the politics of the time. Rose is very heavily involved in her tribes, like the Say, because she's the one who's like, let's send the cease and desist. Obviously, her voice means something in their community. And then Charlotte was quite active in the South, as has been brought up several times. It's revealed that she was arrested, and that is a big part of why they ended up moving. And so they do have more in common than they know. I could see them becoming friends.
Especially after what Shaw and Halloran just did with her son.
The nephew. Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait to talk about that scene. I am just going to go on record because there were several instances of this, but Charlotte was my absolute favorite character this episode. She was the hero of this episode. Stepping up for Hank. Holy crap. The lady nuts on her were incredible. Standing up to not only Bowers, talking to the other guy when she comes back about making phone calls, her conversation with Hank when he loses his cool. You see her shock, but it doesn't really scare her, which tells me like, ooh, she's been in the middle of some stuff that she can handle this kind of level of energy.
Well, it's kind of interesting to see, like, does she also, I mean, not physically, not actually, but is she also fearless?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of interesting to see this side of her, because all we've really seen so far is a dutiful housewife who's making dinner each night and buying the furniture for the new home and taking care of her son. And so it's interesting to see this other side to her that clearly was very active and does not care what other people think, even her own husband. To her, it's very black and white. It's either right or it's wrong.
I love what she says to Leroy too, when he's like basically begging her to calm down and quit making a scene and don't cause trouble. She's like, I'm making this country better. This is the country you pledged your life to. I'm making it worth it. That was a really powerful line because he's putting his life on the line. She has no idea how true that is. But yeah, what is the point of what you're doing if not to make things better for you, for your family, for your son, for the future of everyone
Yeah.
that you can help.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when he went fishing with his son,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously Pennywise shows up as his father, Shard. Which interesting, coming back to Mike, how his fear is his parents being burned up. Do we think after Will tells him like there's something bad in Derry, he kind of looks like he's not afraid but a little shook
I think it's
because he
concern.
knows they're going after something.
Yeah, I wouldn't describe it as fear, but I know what you mean. There's a look that washes over his face that you're like, what is that? And that's the interesting part about this concept, right? Like, he doesn't have fear, but he's also going to have concern for his son. So it doesn't eliminate him completely off the table. Pennywise is going to figure out, if I mess with your son enough, that's going to be the key to you. Messing with
Yeah.
your family.
But he's also presenting himself to him with the red balloons.
Yeah.
He was able to see that, and then was
Yeah.
in the tree later on.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about the fire thing, so I'm glad you brought that up, Rob. That's a really cool piece of symmetry that kind of comes through.
Yeah, that's a really cool connection. Because I didn't even think of that. The first time I watched it, the way him and Will look at the balloon floating across, I'm like, he sees that, right? And then the second time, like, yeah, obviously he does see it. And then he sees it later in the tree, too. It's interesting. I mean, this is a choice that Pennywise is making. Because we've seen these kids not hallucinating, because it really is happening to them, but the kids will see something that no one else does. Pennywise has that kind of control. Why is he letting Leroy see that?
Good point. Maybe because Pennywise in his own way is afraid of Leroy, so he's going to try and stir something up in him to either lure him into a sense of like where he can get at him, or I don't know. But it's an interesting take to actually have one of the adults be able to see anything of what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like because of his involvement with Halloran, if he's like, I'm going to kind of give you this so that keeps you on the hook, so you're interested and you continue to look. Because the more that Halloran interacts with him, the worse this is going to be. Because Pennywise is getting in his head, and then Pennywise is going to have access to the information that Halloran has, which is so much more information than everyone else. That's all I could think of when he's tapping into Taniel. When he smiles over Rose, I was like, what is that? What is that? Is Pennywise in here too? Somehow viewing, and that's scary to me, because that means that then he could know also where the shards are, which means that he would be able to get out.
Or maybe that's why he wants Leroy to keep looking to then get the shards so then he can get out. Maybe that's Pennywise's endgame here. But it never obviously works.
Sorry. I'm processing all of this because, yes, at the very end, we hear this story about how the shards are containing Pennywise. But if that's true, he's still able to somehow reach beyond that barrier, because obviously Derry's outside that barrier and people are still being affected.
No.
The kids are being affected.
I think
Derry is inside that barrier.
It's been built in that piece of land.
In the North Woods?
In the Westwood. Yeah.
Or the West, was it Westwood? Yeah,
it's the Westwood.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot more sense then.
I thought the same thing you did at first, and then I was like, wait, no, this is in the past. When you saw the smoke signals, it was like a large piece of land.
Big, yeah.
So I was like, they must have built Derry on this.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So if they're able to locate these shards and shrink that radius, he really would be, if they could get him back inside, essentially, this
the star.
Cage. Yeah.
Star that he was
inside
locked
the
in.
star.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
If that's the case, if he's afraid of these pieces of the star, why was he able to get out of it to begin with?
Like busted open,
all.
right?
That's true.
Because we like exploded and then he like, the deadlights float out.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
It is weird because you'd think he would be stuck there, like in that proximity.
Just trust it.
Let's not think too hard about it.
What is it about clowns that he was like, that's the one I'm going to stick with?
It's the creepiest thing he could think of.
Yeah, like, because he appears as your greatest fear, and like, then you're like seeing stuff like particular settlers and stuff, which was kind of scary, and then brought up some things for me where I was like, ooh, is this like a gross kind of like rapey situation? On top of that, it didn't say anything, but I just felt like this is like a particular guy that you're seeing.
Oh, yeah.
Why is he different than the other guy?
Before they contained him with the shards, he was attacking adults. He was going after the tribemen if they came in, stuff like that. So when they contained him and then they settled there, he was like, well, they can keep reproducing and I wake up and there's new food. So let me get this form that kind of attracts kids and is also the most terrifying to children once it becomes evil. And then maybe kids get scared easier, so the adrenaline more potent and therefore more flavorful.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe he's also realized that, like, it seems like in this town, the kids go missing and they're like, yeah, well, whatever.
I think that's Pennywise's influence.
Yeah. Now, I know that's his influence, but it's maybe easier to trick them into things or stir them up a little bit because they're just kids.
So our good friend, housekeeper Ingrid, even
Uh-huh.
makes a point to say, oh, yeah, I guess a bunch of kids did go missing in the 30s, but, they were desperate and starving, and we just assume they went on to better things. You think the kids, just the kids, packed up and left and found something better? Okay. And there were a lot of missing kid posters hanging in the police station.
Well, it's just interesting because I'm covering a true crime show on my channel right now, Devil in Disguise, about John Wayne Gacy. And that was in the 70s. And even then, still, there's this concept that, like, if a kid is missing, that they just ran away. And that's reality. That's in our world. That was a thing that was happening. So it just seems like less concern for the kids. I know that it's Pennywise's influence, but there's also something to be said about in our society that was kind of a thing. Now, I'm sure some of it was like you say it to like ease your own mind. So you don't have to think about the big bad things that are out there in the world. Because who would want to hurt kids? That's horrible.
Yeah.
But those people do exist. That does exist in our world.
Well, look at Maddie, for example. Phil, Teddy, and Susie that all are missing, right? Because they never found the bodies. Well, I guess they did find a lot of blood, though. Everybody assumed Maddie ran away, given his home life. But then the other three, they were like, oh, no, they definitely got murdered. But yeah, I guess there was a lot of blood evidence to come to that conclusion. So maybe my example is not the best, but yeah, I don't think that many kids run away. And it also depends on the age of the kid, right? Like no 10-year-old is surviving on their own.
They usually just die.
Right?
If they're gone that long.
Or they
just
come
die.
back and they say that a bear took care of them. Because that happened recently.
Stop it.
That
What?
it was like a little boy. He was, hold on.
Stop.
This is
A
real.
bear took care of him? Was it Winnie
That's
the Pooh?
what he said.
Was his kid's name Christopher Robin?
Hold on.
It was just a man in a bear suit.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
Oh my god. It
gross. I don't like this. I already don't.
was a homeless person taking care of a kid that he found.
He looked like a bear
the-
because his
and the
hair
kid
was
was like,
so
it was a
long.
bear.
So in January of 2019, a 3-year-old boy named Casey Hathaway.
That didn't just happen.
Okay. Well, it was recent
Close
enough
enough.
that I remembered it. Shut up.
Okay.
From North Carolina, went missing for 2 days, but was found safe and claimed that a friendly bear kept him company. He was found tangled in thorn bushes, cold but otherwise healthy.
I'm sorry, how old?
He was only 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that
And
makes
for
more
2
sense.
days,
Yeah.
he was gone. And
Okay.
he told family and authorities that a bear had protected him while he was gone, which is
actually
crazy.
I
Anyway.
actually kind of believe that
I
a bear took care of him.
kind of do too.
See, you can't be bad about it. It
No.
happened. It happened.
Especially if that bear had other cubs at the
Mhm.
time.
It was like, oh,
Yeah.
small animal.
I don't
Small hairless
know.
bear.
When it happened, I remember being like, what? What? But also, like, I'm so glad you're okay.
Uh-huh.
But what?
Okay, so that kid would be what?
January of
It was cold.
2019.
He'd be 9 now. I wonder if you ask him again if it was a bear. We'll see what he says.
Right? 3-year-old could have frozen to death in a matter of hours in January.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That's incredible.
Oh, found alive and well.
Insane. Okay, so I want to go back to the fly fishing just super, super quick and
Okay.
air my grievance really fast that Leroy did not have extra bait on
Dude,
his.
what was up with that? I
on-
was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what?
Like I'm sorry, I don't fly fish, so I don't know these things, but wouldn't you have extra?
You would have something.
He's got
Yeah,
this.
You
would
would have
think
brought the
so.
vest
tackle
with
box at least to the
pockets.
bank.
Yeah, why would it be in the car?
And then I was like, how close is the car? Because he runs back really quickly and is able to save
Yeah.
Will. So it's
Well, he-
like
He hears the commotion instantly.
the car
Mhm.
must be fairly close to where they are.
Yeah.
But you'd still think with that fancy
Well,
fishing
why are
vest
you wearing the fly fishing vest if you're not using it?
with 1,000 pockets? Is that not what the pockets
Yeah.
are for?
They
to
are.
put stuff in.
I've never been fly fishing. I couldn't tell you.
Me either. But I see like the hats, right? You always see
Right.
like the hooks and the stuff
Yeah.
in their hats.
I still don't understand how you catch a fly and then put it on a line and then catch fish with it. I really don't
Okay.
understand it.
So I do know when you fly fish, it's like above the water. You keep
Yeah.
the line sort of moving. You don't just put the
Yeah.
line in the water and wait. There's like a
It's a fake
movement.
fly. It's fake.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is a fake fly.
It's
Yeah.
a fake fly.
Okay. I was like, how do they keep it up?
It's like when people
have the
freeze,
sticky
they freeze
ribbon.
bees and then they tie a
Hmm.
little string around it and it's like on a leash for them. It's the same concept.
That's what
Oh
I
my
thought
God.
it was, they were doing, but with flies. I was like, those are so much smaller.
Oh my gosh. So one, Leroy, why didn't you have the extra bait with you? And two, why are you leaving your young child alone in the river? Here, hold my fishing rod, and I'm going to go back to the car. So he's just standing there with both of these fishing rods in the lake. What kind of parenting is that, Leroy? Come on.
Oh, come on. You grew up in the 80s. Get out of here. We were left alone all the time.
That's
You
true.
left alone in the 90s and
That's
the early
true.
2000s.
Yeah, it's not until more recently that people don't do
Yeah.
that. We were left alone constantly.
I was
true.
after school every day out about town with my friends on my skateboard the whole day. Didn't come home till dark. My
Yeah.
mom never cared where, she cared where I was. She just
She
come
knew
home
where
on
you
time.
were. Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. As long as I stayed on my street. I was on my street somewhere.
Oh no, I wasn't on my street. I was everywhere else. I was going all over town.
If I left my street, I would say, hey, I'm going to so-and-so's house. And
We
then
would
I'd
walk
be
to
gone.
downtown.
I wasn't close to enough to downtown.
It was a long walk, but we did it because there was a record store down there.
Ah. I walked all over Saginaw by me and my friends, which is arguably much more dangerous than Bay City. Anyway, Halloran and his friends get their little party house.
Their little bunkhouse.
Their little
Right.
their little bungalow.
Yeah.
That's cute. That's fun. I think we'll see more of that, right?
I don't love that it's in the woods like that.
Yeah.
Well, like he says, they
Was-
won't be bothered out there.
Okay, and my
They won't.
question is, was that Pennywise or was it not Pennywise?
The grandma.
Yes.
I
Oh,
had the same thought. Ultimately, I
Mhm.
think it was.
Okay.
I did
The only
think
reason
about
I
it.
So-
question it is because it wasn't angry. It was actually a warning. And so
Yeah,
I
'cause
was
he's-
like, is this Pennywise or is this actually some relation to him that's like, hey, quit doing what you're doing because it's
well,
getting
this
really
is The Shining.
dangerous.
Even Kubrick's Shining or Doctor Sleep, they talk to the dead or spirits that are.
Yeah.
Around
So
them.
is that real or was it Pennywise? I think watching it, you
Hmm.
probably assume it's Pennywise right away.
Mm.
But then I kind of thought about it and I was like, I don't know. Because was it unnerving? Sure. But it didn't seem scary.
I think it was just his actual grandma shining to him.
So here's why I think it was Pennywise. I do agree because it did seem more like a warning. And why would Pennywise be warning him, right? To keep him away. I think Pennywise might actually be a little afraid of Halloran and
Of
his
Halloran.
powers.
Maybe.
So he might be presenting as grandma to try and get him to back off.
Mm.
I also think it was Pennywise because in his flashes, when this thing is tapping in, it seems kind of painful. And I don't think grandma
Yeah.
would be causing him pain. And mixed in those flashes, I caught what I thought were the deadlights flashing.
Oh.
And I
Hmm.
did
Okay.
pause it and kind of go scene by scene. Even slowing it down, I could be wrong, but
Okay.
it looked like the yellow glowing orbs.
Sure.
Mhm.
Well, the shining itself seems to hurt him in some way.
Even when he was doing it to Taniel, yeah, I noticed that
Yeah.
too.
You could maybe make a cell for both. I don't know.
Yeah.
And now I'm left feeling still unsure. So thanks for nothing.
No, I know. It really could go either way, honestly. But I'm
Yeah.
leaning more towards it's Pennywise,
Okay.
especially if we don't know if his grandma was killed by Pennywise. We don't even really
don't-
know if she's actually dead, do we?
I think she is.
Leroy
Oh.
is also a baby face. But in my head, he's older because of how old he is in The Shining.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that I assume that he's
Okay.
older.
Okay. He is quite old in The Shining. That's a fair argument.
So I assume that she has passed. But we also don't know where he's from.
How? Yeah.
He's probably not from Derry. The government found him and probably
Oh yeah.
moved him
True.
there.
What was with the Debbie
Huh.
Downer in the shed though? Like, we got to clean this up, and everyone was like, "Yeah, let's do that." And he was just like, "No, this is terrible." I was like, "You got your own place.
I don't
Clean
know.
it up."
He's like, quit your laughing. We got to clean. Oh, okay.
If I'm not mistaken, he is probably the same guy who keeps questioning Halloran's special privileges. So either there's some jealousy there. He doesn't like that Halloran gets these special privileges, or he doesn't like that Halloran talks up these special privileges and they're not actually all that special, it would seem.
Better than the broken tent they were under.
Well, that's how I feel about it too, but that guy might just be a schmuck. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't really know.
Seems like this guy spends more time talking about it than Halloran does.
Yes. One, it makes sense because if they're all under Pennywise's influence, like the rest of the city, or the town, or whatever Derry is technically qualified as, unincorporated, is it the influence of Pennywise making him feel jealous or angry about all of these things? Because does racism exist in Derry? Yes, of course it does. But is racism at the forefront of everyone's mind at all times? No, that's probably the influence of Pennywise. It takes the bad and pulls it out so that it's prominent and the first thing always on everyone's mind. I guess I kind of chalk it up to Pennywise's influence, to him being a jerk.
Yeah, because it seems like everybody else is pretty excited. And regardless, he still gets to reap the benefits of these special privileges that he's complaining so much about.
Right.
I know. He's like, yeah, these privileges suck. Okay, well, you could just like go back to not being here. You just go back to the...
This place is dirty and it's far away from everything. And I want a palace with a gold toilet and...
I don't know. That
Like,
guy's got
what?
beef.
Dude, calm down.
But I mean, it is far away from everything. It is like a little bit scary that they're out in the woods like that. I don't love it.
I don't know much about the military or whatever branch they're in.
Air Force.
That's true. I guess they are all Air Force. Do they not have like barracks? Like, would they not hang out where they sleep? Where do they sleep?
Sure, they do have a barracks, but back then you could hang out in there, but to do that would involve everyone else who shares those barracks, and likely it's a mixed race kind of thing. So they probably get a lot of being in there trying to do that kind of thing.
Okay. Which is why we see them at the bar. That doesn't go well. Then we see them under the rainy tent. That doesn't go well.
It was already hard enough in America at the time to be a Black person and find a place to be. And then on top of that, you add in the influence of Pennywise, it's tenfold. So they just want their own place to be safe. And because there's not a ton of Black people in Derry, it's not like there's Black clubs where there would be these other places for them to go. Financially, it wouldn't make much sense. It does appear that there is like a Black side of town, but it doesn't seem like there's businesses that would be for Blacks only.
Yeah. Like there's not so much segregation as much as just vibes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Well, then it sounds like they would want to be kind of away from all of that. And the farther away they are, they can play loud music. They had a piano out there and they could
play their music, cook
really
their
party
food,
and
have their party. Yeah.
Exactly.
Do whatever they want.
Yeah, you could drink a little maybe, but you would get in trouble for like drinking on base.
Only if you got caught.
To the degree that they are. Because they're like getting real drunk.
Yeah.
And so that's another
that
thing is
fridge
like you
was
want
stocked.
Yeah, you want a place to be able to go to unwind, but that's not really what base is for.
So the conversation between Hanlon and Halloran, specifically, the conversation is kind of what it is. Hanlon is like, obviously something's going on here, man. I think you know what it is. You're not telling me everything. And Halloran's like, I just do what I'm told. And I really think that's kind of his position. Like, he does have that fear receptor. Like, he does feel fear. And I think he is scared of Pennywise, which maybe he doesn't even know the full range of his powers yet. Maybe we'll get to see some of that later, too. I don't know. That would be kind of cool.
He knows he could tap in to people, but it seems like he has to be right there. When he's tapping in to that area, he has to touch something, too. So it does seem like maybe his power isn't quite as immense as we know it grows to be from The Shining, where he's talking to Danny great distance.
States away.
Yeah.
When we see Leroy grab Dick by the arm, what did you see on his face? Was he scared of Leroy?
He already expressed he's not someone he would ever mess with, so he definitely has fear of Leroy.
I think it's easy to be afraid of Leroy. Leroy has lived through things that other men die from and has gone on to have no fear. That's like a really scary concept. When we talk about no fear, it makes me think of people with no pain receptors.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And you're like, oh, wouldn't that be nice if you didn't feel pain? But there's also like a really dangerous and scary side to that. I think it would be easy to kind of be like, well, I don't know, dude. They brought you in not just to like handle this, but to like be the one to handle this weapon that I'm supposedly looking for that scares me. So actually, I'm not looking that hard for it, because I don't really want to find it.
Especially after he encountered it and said, we should probably leave this thing alone.
And he's milking it a little bit. Oh, I get special benefits as long as I do this. But also, like, I really don't want to find what you guys are looking for. It seems horrible. You're making me do it, so I'm going to do it. But it seems like it's probably not something we want to get involved with. So I think it would be scary to know that Leroy was brought in for this project. You'd be afraid of him. Because if I'm the guy who's looking for it, but he's the guy that's supposed to take care of it, and people are probably afraid of Halloran because of his power,
Mm-hmm.
the ability to shine would be a scary thing. I don't want people in my mind.
Yeah.
Get out of there.
I'm not really sure how many people know what he can do, but still. And he's already said he's not going to go back inside Leroy's mind because he's aware of it too.
Well, that's the thing. He's seen something that made him be like, I don't want to go back in there, dude.
Leroy even said, every family I've ever known knows someone like you, but I've never seen it in person. The idea of being able to shine, I guess, is something that is a legend amongst cultures. That, like, there are people that can do this sort of thing.
All right. Who do you think Hank is sleeping with?
Oh,
Ooh.
I know.
Do you think it's a character we've met?
No, I feel like it's the wife of someone we know, though.
What if it's Bauer's wife?
That's genuinely who I thought it was.
Either that or the commissioner guy that told Bowers to go after him.
Oh.
Arrest him.
He did have a special interest for some reason.
Yeah. I know. I'm trying to think of all the female characters that we've met so far that it could be. Unfortunately, this scene, gosh, put a real life case in my head that I didn't want to think about again. And Bridget, you're probably familiar with it too. Timothy Coggins.
Refresh me.
This actual case happened in 1983. This young black guy went to a club with a friend, and he was dancing with a white woman who was his friend. He was invited. They were dancing, and her on again, off again boyfriend and his friends did not care for it, and they brutally beat this man to death. And the case went unsolved for 34 years. 34 years, these men were not held accountable for what they did.
Horrible.
They bragged about it. Everyone
Of course.
knew who it was.
I'm sure.
But there was cover-ups. Police at the time just didn't care. They moved on.
I mean, in the 80s, that sort of thing was still pretty prevalent in amongst personal culture. Obviously, there were corrupt politicians and police officers and stuff like that still persistent in that time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as widely socially acceptable out in the open.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I would still say it was, if you
It was
go
still
over
happening.
southern United States. Yes, especially down south.
It was pretty equal across the United States. That is a common misconception about the South, actually. It was pretty rough everywhere.
Well,
I'm not saying that it wasn't. I'm just, from what I heard and learned throughout my life, that's
Yeah.
always, as you say, if it's a misconception, I would like to know more.
Well, she's going to say a southern state now.
this isn't going to
Yeah.
help the South's case. It was Spalding
Yeah.
County, Georgia.
Georgia.
Wow.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because I had never met more racist than when I moved to Wisconsin, actually.
Oh, wow.
And that's
Wow.
not even that long ago. It was very heavily prevalent in small town Wisconsin. And
Yeah.
I had
Wow.
grown up in the South. And so I was kind of baffled by
Wow.
it. I know it exists. Obviously, I'm not stupid, but it wasn't as widely acceptable to be so blatantly open about it.
Yeah.
Oof.
And so moving to
Gosh.
small town Wisconsin and seeing so much of it, and I'm not saying directed only at blacks either. It was directed at Asian communities.
Anybody who's different. Racism is absolutely everywhere. But watching Hank be so reluctant to give his alibi, I immediately went to this case, which, like I said, happened in the 80s. And this is 58. So we're talking almost 30 years prior, where it would be unthinkable. So I understand his reluctance. I understand why he's so afraid. And when Charlotte's like, well, it can't be any worse than what you're being accused of, but it almost is. It's awful.
I'm not going to speak on it any further than that, but this does reflect things that happen in our society and have happened and definitely would have happened at the time.
Right.
It makes it hard to watch sometimes, this show. It's a hard watch anyway.
But I want to know who it is. I want to know who he's sleeping with and if we're going to find out.
No, Rob,
think we'll
I
find
really like your idea of the commissioner's wife, actually.
Yeah, right.
I think I'm going to go with that. Because I thought it was Bowers' wife, but I'm like, but Bowers is old.
Bowers is also against arresting him at first.
I assume he's got some old biddy for a wife, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe he has some
Maybe
trophy wife. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like we're going to have to find out, though. I also wonder, they keep mentioning that he's going to get sent to Shawshank.
I know.
I wonder if they're going to show us Shawshank. Are we going to see him?
I think we'll see him in the prison.
I wonder if he'll meet any characters we know.
Familiar characters, yeah. I don't know.
Or make reference to any
Yeah.
characters that we know.
Like if they'll mention like an escape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or if Jeffrey DeMunn shows up. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so if we're done with Hank, and also Charlotte's just the best. Charlotte's awesome. Again, I really love her. And I didn't notice it before, but she has the most adorable little freckle on the tip of her nose.
See, I had said that I love that. I told this to Travis. I said,
It's
I love
so
when women
cute.
have a beauty marker or mole right next to their eye. I think it's like the coolest thing. I always wish that I had one. She has one right here. And then it also reminds me of the girl from Twin Peaks. And I just think it's like the prettiest little thing. I don't know why. It's just so cool.
It's not a beauty mark, but I've developed an age spot up here. So that's like, that's
I have a
close.
liver spot.
Yeah, so close.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about. I'm sorry. Marge's snail eyes.
That was the wildest thing I've ever seen.
Maybe we back it up a little bit and start with why she's getting these snail eyes. The horrible prank that the patty cakes want to play on Lily.
Yeah, I know. It's so mean.
We all saw that coming, right?
I was glad that Marge was coming around to being like, no, I'm going to own up to this and not do it.
Yeah.
And then Pennywise said, no, we're going to screw with her. And
But so much
Except
worse.
in a way worse way.
Yeah.
well, the thing is, like, there's no way Marge isn't going to be like, hey, I did this to myself.
I thought the same thing.
I was like, she knows she put her face in the buzzsaw. She knows Lily didn't do that to her. So why would Lily get in trouble? Like,
I have
that's
no
my
idea.
whole-
I don't know if the patty cake's a lie and say that Lily said she was going to hurt Marge, and so like it won't matter what Marge
Well,
says.
You do have a lot of witnesses that are going to say we saw her holding an
Yes.
instrument
that
over her,
was-
covered in blood. Looks real bad, but
Even Will and Rich were like,
yeah.
which, you know, they're friends with her, and they're like, "Look."
They experienced ghosts, but they didn't experience bloody gore from
Uh-huh.
Pennywise yet, which Lily and Ronnie have. So seeing
Yeah.
that, they're like, wait, is
Yeah.
this something that he would do, or is this actually her?
Well, I want to
So,
mention that the
yeah.
snail eyes obviously happened as a nod towards the boring science video.
Yes,
Obviously.
absolutely.
Yes.
It was weird. I didn't like the pulsing of colors in the video, and I didn't like it on her eyes. It really creeped me out.
So
You guys
gross.
have seen or heard about that kind of snail parasite before?
Yeah.
I mean,
The
I
zombie snails
haven't.
that
I
happen?
mean,
Yes.
I assume it's similar to cordyceps.
Sort of. It's actually like instead of a fungus, it's an actual parasite that burrows into the snail and like starts doing that to attract birds, so they eat it and then reproduce their poop. They look gnarly if you've ever seen videos of them up close. Their eyes are it's really gross.
I don't like it.
Oh.
It's off-putting to see.
It is.
Why that attracts birds, I have no idea because I'm disgusted.
It
but-
looks like a wiggly.
yeah, and everything about it was so gross. And then the
Mhm.
saw was also over the top and disgusting.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, I hate everything about this. And clearly, the only thing that actually hurt her was whatever happened at the end with the little chisel.
Yeah.
Because her one eye is fine at the
Mhm.
end of it.
Because at the end of the day, the whole thing, as much as she felt it, saw it, whatever, it was all Pennywise.
And
so
I know,
he can
'cause
make
it's
it
like-
go back to normal.
Why would you be like, oh, I have giant snail eyes. Let me cut them off. That's my first priority is cutting them off.
Right?
Okay.
I was just like,
Well, but think about this. Have you not ever had a headache so bad you wanted to stab yourself in the temple to relieve the pain?
Well, yeah,
can't
sure.
say I have.
Okay.
I
well.
feel like that's similar to what she was going through, or just any kind of pain so
Yeah.
bad you wanted to get it off of your body.
Or it was like the parasite and she was no longer in control of her body.
Maybe that too.
That's also possible.
Maybe that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found it incredibly interesting that Pennywise did that to Marge. Marge, up
Mhm.
until now, has been completely separate from everything.
It felt like it was punishment for Lily for trying
Mhm.
to outsmart him with the pill.
Like he knew, yeah. He
That's
knew
what it felt
she
like to
had
me.
that.
She took that thing right out of the piss-filled toilet that she just peed in
Yeah, I know. I
and
wrote,
just threw it down.
I mean, it wasn't piss filled. She had already flushed because when it drops in, it was clear.
Okay.
The water
to
was
be
clear.
fair, this is going to sound really gross. David, please cut this out. But to be fair, she didn't even pee.
Yeah, what was she doing? She's like, I have to pee. And then like nothing, no sound.
And then didn't pee.
But I was kind of like, but maybe they just don't do that because it's like a kid and it would be weird.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So we can cut
I don't know.
cut all that out, David, please, because that's I literally wrote, ew, don't eat the toilet pill.
I would have done it.
Okay, but it wouldn't have been effective because she told us earlier that her mom puts it under her tongue, which means it dissolves. So the second it hits that water,
It's
it would
dissolving.
Yeah.
It's
But
dissolving.
I figured it's written for a grown woman and she's a child. So maybe
Well,
it's
that's
still
That was
fair,
my
too.
thought
That's
when
fair,
they
too.
first gave them. They're gonna
They're gonna
take
OD.
a way larger dose than that. Than that's gonna be necessary for. But also now that she's taken that pill, when she goes to wherever Juniper Hill, whatever, they're gonna be like, oh, she was on drugs when she did.
I
this
didn't
to
even think
Marge.
about that, Rob.
Did she take it though?
She reached in the toilet, grabbed it, and threw it back, and then she ran after Marge.
I saw her like trying to fish around for it, but I didn't see her grab it and take it. Okay.
I'm pretty sure I saw that happen.
Okay.
She does something, but I couldn't tell exactly if she had gotten it or not. But
Okay. So I wonder if this incident will bring Marge into the Losers Club.
oh yeah, she won't have two eyes now. So no way the patty cakes are hanging out with her.
No.
No. And now, she's got to believe if Lily, Ronnie, the boys, if they tell Marge, hey, this has been going on, we've been attacked by this thing too, she's much more likely to believe them.
Yeah, she grew snail eyes.
I don't think she'll interact with them because she'll be so mad about this. And I think she'll blame it on Lily, even though she did it. I think she'll double down on that because she cares so much about other people liking her. But because this will permanently ruin her chance at being popular, I think she's just going to be like done. I don't know. That would be my belief. And it'll kind of be like, when Pennywise jacks up other people, they just kind of dissipate into the background.
Yeah, I was wondering if after this we just wouldn't even see Marge again.
I don't know.
Oh,
Is
she's
Rich
been
still going to
kind of
be
a
in love with her?
prevalent
Is my
character, but
question.
maybe.
Rich
Aw,
was
he's-
over the
I think
top
he
in
will.
love with her.
I think you will.
I know. He seems like the kind of guy that'd be like, it's all right.
I just love that he was like, except for Marge has the best face. And I was like, okay.
Not anymore.
Okay, dude. I love that for you. You're so into her. It's so funny.
Well, we see Will unable to sleep. So he's looking out the telescope.
Yes.
And does start spying on the neighbors, which his dad suggested in episode 1.
Well, why not? Something to do.
Something to look at.
Right? But then he sees something looking back at him.
Ugh.
Pennywise silhouette, which I'm surprised they've gone 4 episodes without fully showing the clown yet.
I like this little
No, I like it a lot.
creep toward, this build.
Yeah.
Yeah, people have commented about really dragging this out. They got Skarsgård to sign on, but they're like, yeah, but we're only paying him for like a little bit, Right. We don't have that big of a budget.
Right.
I imagine he'll show up within the next 1 or 2 episodes, but we'll see.
Do we know how many episodes this season is?
It ends on the 14th.
14th, but I don't remember how
Of
many.
December?
Well, that's 4
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's 4 more
Wow.
weeks,
Okay. So it
4
is like,
episodes,
it's going to be fast. Okay.
I will be pleasantly surprised if we see him before the last episode, but I'm not expecting to see him before the last episode. But it'd be cool if we did. I like this slow build. They're like, how many different ways can we show Pennywise without showing you Pennywise?
I'm not calling anyone stupid or anything like that, but I guess there were a lot of people that didn't understand that Pennywise is not his only form. He doesn't always look like the clown. So people are like, what's this mutant baby? What's this thing from these other episodes? I was like, you guys, he took other forms in the movies too.
Yeah.
Mrs.
Well-
Kirsch, the Paul Bunyan statue, whatever.
If someone is just starting by watching
Yeah.
this series, then I can see how that would be confusing. Because if all you
Yeah.
know about Pennywise is he's the dancing clown, then it would be confusing to see all these other forms.
Yeah. I think probably those people just watched the most recent movies too. And so they
Yeah.
don't really have much to compare it to. Whereas the Tim Curry miniseries, there was like more, because you got like the weird spider and like more of the presentation, I feel like. And even though that was presented in the newer movie, I think it's easy to say like, oh, well, that's just horror movies now.
Yeah.
True.
Right? It's like the jump scares and these other characters and you hallucinating or whatever. But people maybe don't know that is Pennywise. Every time that's Pennywise. He's
Yeah.
a busy clown.
Yeah, you can be in many
He's
places at once.
busy. He's busy.
He's taken on a lot of forms on this show. He was a killer moose.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the different blonde, like
The like bulging
settlers.
face
Yeah.
people.
was-
So creepy.
he was
Oh
The
yeah.
creepy priest. Oh yeah, that was terrifying.
It was weird. Okay.
That's why I said that seemed a little creepy to me.
It did. It
Yeah.
very much did. Until he was like holding her by the arms and then the baby like comes out of the chest and I'm like, what? Now wait a minute. No.
Why is there a baby there?
Now what?
Whose
now,
baby is
what?
that?
Who? Why is Chucky making an appearance
But that's why it made
here?
me think it was sexually
a baby
related.
But
Well, because maybe she had a baby.
oh, okay.
Do you see what I'm saying here?
I mean, kind of. Well, I mean, she did because she went into the woods after her daughter, who went in.
I'm not saying that baby. I'm saying like maybe
Another
she was
different. Okay,
Maybe.
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. So like this guy,
That's-
she's okay. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to think too hard about it.
It's gross. I
But
don't
yeah,
like it.
could- yeah, the thing looked like Chucky.
It was
Yeah.
weird.
It was. Yeah,
It was very weird.
it was. So if we've lost anybody, it's because we've moved on now to Daniel's interpretation of
Yes.
the legend of the Galoo, where
The glue.
Halloran is entering the mind of Daniel, which Charlotte was the hero of this episode for me, but this scene was my favorite scene. Watching Halloran enter the mind of Daniel. Holy crap. So when Sharon and I were covering Pluribus the other day, we talked about face acting and the kind of talent it takes to carry a whole scene just on your face. And holy crap, I don't know the actor's name. I should have looked it up. Who's playing Dick Halloran right now? He is
I can find out for you. Hold on.
fan flipping tastic.
Oh yeah, amazing.
His face in every scene.
Chris Chalk is his name.
Okay, Chris Chalk. First of all, very good looking man. And his facial expressions in every single scene are just beautifully done. I mean,
He's
he
very
carries the scene
expressive.
very much. Just the little things. I loved it in the other episode when he winks at
Mhm.
Leroy. Just these little touches that
He's got some of the most expressive eyes I've ever seen on an actor.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's very good at conveying any kind of emotion just by
Mhm.
looking at you.
I loved watching the build up to him entering Daniel's mind. And he's remorseful too. He genuinely
Yeah.
doesn't want to do this. He's like, please, man,
Yeah.
just tell us what we want to know. I don't want to do this to you. And
He knows it hurts.
I was going to say, and a little bit, he probably doesn't want to do it to himself either.
Yeah.
But I love watching this build up, touching his head and then spreading
moving.
his fingers and
Yeah.
moving it over. And the music, the score that goes along with it,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, just,
Well, I thought
Ugh.
about that and I was like, how else are you supposed to show someone shining?
yeah.
They had to do something because otherwise he's just like,
Exactly.
Just staring at.
so
Do the Kubrick
Awkward stare.
they had to do something. It reminds me a little bit of Sean Spencer. It's like a little,
Yeah.
but I do like it. I do like it. I do want to mention the guy who plays
Yeah.
Daniel. His name is Joshua Ojek. He was just in The Long Walk.
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't either, but I just saw it in his acting credits, and so I just wanted to mention that he was in another Stephen King
Nice.
property
Oh,
very recently.
right.
So that's kind of cool for him.
I haven't seen it
Yeah.
yet either, but I've heard really, really great things.
Yeah, I just was enamored with the marketing for the promos,
Yeah.
where they were like, they had people on treadmills at the theater when
Mhm.
they were doing the preview, and I just thought that was so cool. That's the perfect way to market this.
I
You
would've
guys are
done that.
geniuses. Yeah.
I would have walked on a treadmill watching a whole
For
movie.
2.5 hours.
Heck yeah.
Could definitely do that.
I would definitely have to pee. But I would
Well,
do
pee
it.
your pants if you want the full experience.
Bring a run bladder.
Halloran gets into Daniel's mind. He's like in the
Mhm.
center of this room with all of these doors, but he's drawn to this one. I thought that was a really cool way to interpret
Mhm.
what the inside of somebody's mind might look like and
His
how do you
mind
decide
palace.
where to go. Right? So we see him go
Mhm.
through the door, and it's Daniel as a little boy, and of course Auntie Rose. Well, actually, Daniel tells the story of the legend of the Galoo. And I wanted to look up if that was a real legend of any kind. From what I found, it was not. This was completely
Yeah.
fabricated for this episode. But still really cool, the way they told the story, the legend of all this. And he makes a point to say millions of years ago. Rob, you had mentioned that early
Yep.
on, too, when we were covering it.
I mentioned it actually, I think, last episode. Because I just watched the second movie, and Mike says about 3 million years ago, something like that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So Daniel kind of confirms that, too, according
Mhm.
to legend, anyway.
Coming back to the shards and the border they have to make around Derry, that does answer Dave's question of why he doesn't leave Derry. Because people wondering, like, why does he only stick to here? Is it because he likes the vibes, or is it just... 'cause he's stuck. Turns out he's actually trapped in a way.
Right. Is he in Derry because Derry is evil, or is Derry evil because he's there?
Not
I
this
think
chicken and the
that-
egg thing again.
Yeah. Well, I think
God.
this.
I think that answers
this
that's the answer. Derry's
agree.
evil because he is there.
I agree, because Pennywise was there first, and Derry was built on top of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he
Because
can't
the
leave.
settlers just didn't listen to the natives.
Yep.
Don't go in the Westwood.
So what happens when somebody removes just one of those shards and
That's a good
Pennywise can
question.
get out?
He's got a path out, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I like what you said, Bridget, early on about the smile that we see Dick give.
It's something about it.
It was so sinister.
That's all I could think of when Halloran was shining into Taniel. What if Pennywise is still there somehow? And what if he can see all of this? What if he's like tapped into you now? This is really scary. And for him to know all of the secrets that you are trying to find out is even scarier. My fear is that's what's happening. I would like to be wrong, but I don't know. The smile was pretty creepy.
It was.
It was very creepy.
So we know the reservation is not in Derry. It's outside the Westwood, so they don't get influenced by Pennywise. Is the airbase in Derry, or is it just outside? Because they're looking for the beacons.
Yeah, I
or
wonder
the,
if they're
or
kind
the
of on the
shards, so-
edge. They might be like right
Yeah.
outside of it.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
just inside.
Because
of it
he
or
had to
something. It's like-
fly over Derry for Halloran to have the interaction. So yeah, maybe it's just outside of
Yeah.
the city.
well, then that would Pennywise be able to influence Halloran's shining or be there if they're outside of his range?
Mm.
Well, he
So
did
it
tell him to
depends
go
on whether-
east. So once they turned back, maybe they
Well,
were
I'm talking
inside.
about when he's in this episode where he's trying to get into his mind.
Oh.
I don't
see
know.
what you're saying.
Maybe it straddles
That's
a
it, yeah.
line.
It's a very good
Maybe.
question.
Maybe it's built like half on, half off.
Yeah.
And then depending where you are on base.
Yeah, that's possible too.
Bridget, I kind of thought the same thing you did when Halloran gave that creepy smile over Rose's head and the weird slow clap.
Yeah, it just didn't seem like Halloran.
Yeah. I thought we were going to get like a different camera angle and we were going to see Halloran standing over in the corner and then a second Halloran sort of being like a double thing. Like, here's the real one, but this
Yeah.
one's presenting as Pennywise, the Taniel. I thought the same thing because it was really creepy. And from what we know about Dick, I would almost say like out of character for him, for
Unless
what we
he's
know.
just putting on an act. He might just be trying to scare.
Which
Daniel.
is possible. It's very
Yeah.
possible. I just have my hackles or whatever like up. I'm very wary right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've only seen the newer movies once, but we saw that
Oh,
house
yes.
in
House
the
on
movies.
Evil
right?
Street.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it's the house.
The old
house.
well.
Yeah, it's
The
the
old well
house. Yeah.
Which I thought was strange. If there's these 13 shards all around, why is there only one access point?
That's a good point. I know that they go through the well that's in the basement of the well house to get to the tunnels that lead to Pennywise. I think that's the most direct way to get there because you can also get there through the sewers. As we saw,
Yeah.
the Bowers get spit out at the end of the part one. I also thought about when Mike tells a story about one of the earliest settlers that arrived in Derry, how they just disappeared. None of the people were left.
Like a Roanoke situation?
Well, I'm pretty sure
Croatoa.
Pennywise just ate all of them. But yeah,
Croatoa.
yeah. One of the instances that he brings up from the cycle is that like one of the earliest ones that the whole town just disappeared and all that was
Ugh.
left was a bunch of blood around the well house. And that's why the neat old house that looks so
Ah.
deteriorated has just been sitting there for so long.
Well, it made me think of this, where the settlers went in and they were like, don't hunt that wood. And then they all died.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and they probably said it somewhere and I missed it, but I imagine with every kill, he gets stronger. Like any evil entity we've seen in every movie or show.
Gives them energy.
Yeah, it gives him more power and maybe more reach, more range.
I guess, but then he just lives off that for 27 years, is
Mhm.
the thought.
Yeah. So, I mean, they did say like at once they were feeding him, that one shard wasn't protecting them anymore.
That's true.
So that's
Yeah.
why they
did
had to
say
go
that.
get more
Yeah.
and
Did
build
say that.
barrier stuff.
Well, that makes sense. And I imagine there's still got to be some of that star left. Didn't we also see that?
Well, do you see
in
you
the
see the
movies?
star in that whole
Yeah.
area? The star is where they kill him.
Okay.
in the
Okay,
last
that's what
movie.
I thought. Yeah. And is it with
They kill
a
him.
piece of it?
No, they just bully him until he's small and then they rip his heart out.
Oh, okay. They bully him.
Yeah, they just bully
They
him to
do.
death.
You're like,
It's
you're
you're,
one of the
not even
main
that
complaints
good,
people
man.
you're
have.
stupid looking.
Your hair
They
is
just start
ugly.
calling him clown.
Your laugh is dumb.
Your feet are huge.
And when you smile, you look weird.
Oh my gosh.
See, I've said this already on this show, but I will never get over the first half of the first It movie because of Seth Green yelling, "This is battery
Yeah.
acid." I'll never forget it. It's burned into my brain. It's like one of a handful of Stephen King lines that I say. It's like, I'm like, "This is battery acid," or I'm like, "Sometimes dead is better." Those are my quotes from Stephen King.
Yep. Some lines just stick with you.
Mhm.
But when they write it, they have no idea that's what's going to stick out.
And does that stick out to anyone else, or is that just me, that battery acid comment?
No, the battery acid
Battery
line
acid
definitely stuck.
sticks out.
I think it's just because
Definitely
it's his
sticks out.
inhaler, and he's like such a nerd, and you're just like,
Uh-huh.
what a
Mhm.
dweeb. I don't know.
It's magical too, though, right? Because he believes it has power. It
Yeah.
does. It's the power of imagination. I like it.
It's so cheesy.
I liked it.
It's so cheesy.
So I also liked in the legend that Taniel's telling us it's Nakani and her friends. Again, another group of
know.
kids that
I
are
know.
going
I
in to
thought
try
that
and
too.
defeat.
I thought
Yeah.
that too. I was like, oh, that's so sweet that it's like always this concept of friendship, this
Mhm.
deep running theme of
Mm.
like you can do anything if you're together
Mhm.
to support each other. It's probably the sweetest thing that Stephen King has ever done. So I don't really understand it because it's like such a weird juxtaposition to everything else he does. But he's always like, but kids are good. And they're good all the way through unless they're in Pet Sematary.
Unless they're not. Yeah.
Unless they died and came back.
Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after these messages. We just thought we'd remind you to show this episode some love by tapping that like button, if there's one to be tapped, subscribing to our podcast or channel, and if available, enabling all notifications, and sharing the show, or clips of it, with everyone you know. And don't be afraid to reach out. Leave your questions, feedback, ideas, or even concerns in the comments section. There isn't one? Head on over to ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead and leave your thoughts there. Rating our podcast is the best way to get our attention because it also boosts our visibility. And we'll probably address it in the next episode too. And if you think there's something to what we're doing here at Squawking Dead, tip us over on Ko-fi. As a token of our appreciation, you'll receive forever access to our Discord, along with 30 days access to our uncut episode and interview recordings, plus our pre-squawk insights. Take your support further. Join a membership tier on either ko-fi.com/squawkingdead or patreon.com/squawkingdead, and you'll unlock access to more channels on our Discord server, receive shoutouts at the end of every episode, and depending on what tier you join, the ability to join us on camera and mic to break down future episodes alongside us. Thank you for hearing us out and making it this far into the episode. We now return you to our regularly scheduled podcast.
Well, we don't have to do the thing anymore. So that's
No,
nice.
we don't. David finally took my advice. I said, just record something that you can stick at the end.
We've been saying it for years.
So long. I know. Okay, before we totally wrap up on Derry, I want to ask you guys, what do you want to see happen in the next episode? Not even necessarily what you think is going to happen. Are there any lingering questions you want to see the answer to in the next episode?
Well, I really want to know, is Pennywise in Halloran's head?
Okay.
So I would like to get some movement there at least, but I have a feeling it's probably not going to be.
Like, is this connection going both ways?
I saw the title of the next episode, so I feel like it's not. We're going to step away from
I'm
it for a
wondering,
second, I think.
this isn't really something I want to see or like care that much about, but I want to see if they bring up the ritual of Chud at all that Mike tried to use to beat Pennywise in the movies. Because that was a Native American ritual. So did that happen after the story of the glue they just told when they made the barrier, or was that before?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I'm also very curious. Does Halloran learn more about the Shining from the native people now that he's like tapping it? Because it seemed to me that Taniel was really fighting it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's not super common. And so I was like, oh, he must know like what's happening.
Yeah.
And he's also conditioned himself to learn how to fight against it. So is this something that exists like in their culture? And then is that going to kind of become like a thing? Because I'm interested in that. This show has nothing to do with The Shining, but it's like a really untapped kind of area of Stephen King lore that is interesting to me.
Yeah. Rob, it's cool that you bring up the ritual of Chud because earlier we heard Rose tell Daniel, you're needed for something. So she's almost like hinting at something.
Maybe.
Him and his friends who are,
I
don't know. I don't really know how old they are, but young
Which
adult.
is still like,
I feel like they're like either late teens or like early 20s.
Yeah.
Would be my
So we
guess.
could still call them
high school
kids.
rather than middle school.
Maybe.
Yeah. Like high school.
Yeah.
I don't know. Daniel looked like he was in his 20s to me, but
well,
he probably
might
actually is.
Listen,
I was going to say, he might be 30, like playing an 18-year-old, so.
Tobey Maguire played Peter Parker at age 30.
Don't talk to me about Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Don't talk to me about Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I am a vehement hater of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Oh, I love Tobey as Spider-Man.
No, they put the webbing in his skin, and I cannot handle it.
Yeah.
I'll never be able to handle it. It's
was
disgusting. It's disgusting. It's
wrong.
weird.
That's because it was Sam Raimi.
But that wasn't his
who made
choice.
more body horror. No.
All right,
Didn't
it's
fix
killing me, Bridget. What's the name of the next episode?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm sorry I did this to you.
No, I didn't want to know, but
Okay.
now it's eating away at me.
Nebolt Street or something.
No, it's the house.
Yeah, it's about the house.
Oh, okay. All right, so we're going into the house.
It's heavily in the
Newbolt
marketing
Street
for
is
the
what it's
show.
called?
I could save him for the last episode, but I imagine they'd show him a little earlier than that, but we'll see.
I don't know.
I don't know. You got that Skarsgård money?
I know, right? That's what I'm saying.
I feel like
It is
Warner
HBO Max.
does.
Yeah, that's true. It is HBO. All right. Well, that's a wrap, guys. I think we did this one justice. Good
I'd say so.
job.
The great swirling apparatus is the
Of
friends
our
we made
planet's
along the way.
function. Yeah. All right.
All
Good
right.
night, you guys. I'm going to bed.
Have a good one.
Yeah, me too.
gonna
Actually,
go
I'm
eat
not.
my
I have to
dinner.
fold my laundry and then I'm going to bed. So,
All right.
chores.
Some of that.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.